This go-around nearly killed 300 people, and here's what went wrong. August 3rd, 2016. Dubai International Airport. Emirates Flight 521 is seconds away from landing. The pilots decide to abort the approach, a go-around, but the engines don't respond. The aircraft doesn't climb. Instead, it crashes back onto the runway. A Boeing 777 burst into flame, skidding across the tarmac with 300 people on board. Miraculously, every single passenger survives. This wasn't just a dramatic landing, it was a breakdown in automation, judgment, and seconds. Let's break down how a routine maneuver nearly turned into mass casualty disaster and what we learned from it. Emirates Flight 521 departed from India bound to Dubai. The aircraft, a Boeing 777-300, a twin-engine wide-bodied, known for long-haul reliability. On board, 282 passengers, 18 crew members. The flight was uneventful, clear skies, normal ATC communication. But as the aircraft began its final descent into Dubai, wind conditions changed fast. On short final to runway 12 left, the crew noticed an unexpected tailwind. That might sound minor, but at landing speeds, even a few knots of tailwind can dramatically increase stopping distance. The 777 touched down momentarily, but the crew quickly realized that the aircraft wouldn't stop before the end of the runway. So they initiated what we call a go-around, retracting the gear and setting the aircraft up to climb. And that is when things started to unravel. Here's the key detail. The auto throttle did not re-engage. Why? Because on the 777, if you touch down even briefly, the system no longer assumes a go-around. Crew expected the engines to spool up automatically, but the throttles stayed at idle. Instead of climbing, the aircraft began to sink. Seconds ticked by, the pilots realized too late. The landing gear was already retracting. The altitude was dropping, there was no thrust. At 83 feet above the runway, the 777 slammed back down. Gear up, tail first. The right engine separated, the wing scrapped. Sparks then fire. The aircraft skidded nearly 800 meters. A fireball engulfed the right wing. The cabin began to fill with smoke. But here's where training made the difference. Cabin crew immediately began evacuation. Slides deployed, passengers fled. Within 90 seconds, the entire aircraft had been evacuated just before the right wing exploded. Tragically, one firefighter lost his life responding to the blaze, but thanks to crew discipline and coordination, all 300 on board survived. The investigation revealed a dangerous mix of over-reliance on automation, misunderstanding of go-around logic, slow manual reaction. The pilots had entered the go-around too late after the aircraft briefly touched down, but they didn't advance the throttles manually on the Boeing 777. Automation doesn't always save you, especially in borderline scenarios. The aircraft performed exactly as programmed, but the pilots assumed something different. That assumption nearly led to disaster. Emirates 521 forced aviation were to rethink about go-around training. Boeing updated guidance on auto throttle awareness. Emirates revised procedures for last-minute go-arounds. And the airlines emphasized manual flying skills because in high-stakes moments, the human behind the controls must be faster than the logic and the machine. The crew of 521 might have made mistakes, but their training and the cabin crew's precision saved lives. 300 people walked away from the burning wreck, not because the systems worked perfectly, but because humans did what they were trained to do. Emirates Flight 521 reminds us that modern cockpits are marvels of automation, but in the end, judgment, skill and timing still make the difference. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to Aviation Addict for more aviation stories, and in the meantime, keep flying smart. See you!